I also, before I hand it over to our speaker, I want to thank HSBC today because it's of their support. We can put on this program and do so much more. So thank you so much, HSBC. I'm really excited to kick this off. Oops. So I'm going to hand it over to Divya, who's going to introduce herself and start her talk. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And now it's
Thank you,
time
Anna.
No problem.
All right, I'm going to start sharing. Are you going to see my presentation? Can you confirm?
Yes, we can see it, and we don't see it. We only see your presentation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining today. I'm Divya Siddalingaiah. Today I'll be talking over software engineering and banking as a topic. We have around 30 minutes of the presentation time, and then we can come to the question and answer session. So to start, so here is our agenda for today. I'm going to give brief intro about me and HSBC, what is the banking concept in general, and current state of technology in banking. Quickly, we will touch base about fintechs and bank partnership, and I will also quickly talk about future of banking as part of my topics today. All right, so I want this session to be very interactive as much as I can do it. So we have two polls in this session, and one right now, as you see on the screen, and another one is towards the end after a few slides. So for this slide, you have two questions which you're seeing on the screen. Are you in banking IT today? And a free form of what does IT in banking mean to you? Feel free to use the chat option to provide what you think about the IT in banking is. And if you are already in banking, I would like to know how much of experience you have, or are you completely new to banking? So let's take a pause, and I would like to hear from you. Okay, I think I see some of the responses coming in. Never been in the banking, so it's a good session to be in. That's good. That's good. So many interested parties to learn what we have in IT in banking. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Let the responses keep flowing. So I'll move on. Okay, so this is about me. I'm born and brought up in India, and I have a computer science in Bachelor of Engineering as my postgrad education. I am in IT industry in banking, mainly for 17 years now. And currently I'm leading the technology architecture for payments and liquidity and cash management side of the bank. And in terms of previous roles, what I have played, I was lead architect in commercial lending. And in the IT finance side, I had been playing a role of solution architect. And prior to becoming an architect, I started my career as a programmer, mainframe programmer, and played various roles within finance IT, such as technical lead, subject matter expert, and platform designer. And in terms of hobbies and interest, I like watching documentaries, like cooking, gardening, keeping fit, which is very important for everybody, and also some aspect of spirituality to keep myself zen. And let's quickly talk about HSBC. Today I'm representing HSBC Bank for this webinar. HSBC stands for Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, and it's one of the world's leading international banks. It's the largest bank in assets in Europe, and it's established in 1865. It's a quite old bank, and it started in British Hong Kong. HSBC has 64 offices, offices in 64 countries, and serving around 40 million customers. And if I can quickly go to HSBC Bank USA, which is an American subsidiary of the HSBC Group, and we have our operational head office in New York City with employees of around 43,000, including IT and business overall. Here we have two representations of diversity and inclusion, more specifically gender-based diversity. We have around 31% of leadership roles held by our female colleagues, and 69% of the female colleagues are under entry to medium level of the technology and in banking in general. Okay, as we saw, some of us were very new to the banking. So what I'm going to do is I will introduce you to what the banking really means. This is my efforts to dissect the banking core. In general, banking has multiple pillars to focus on particular segment of the business. For instance, as you see on the screen, we have 4 very high-level areas called out as retail and private banking, commercial banking, investment banking, and a common set of functions which are cross-functional to all the ones mentioned earlier. The primary focus of retail banking is to offer various products and services to consumers like you and me, wherein private banking is more focused on products for high net worth super rich clients. Some of the products on retail banking are our checking accounts, or saving, also known as deposit accounts, cards, which could be a debit card or a credit card, which are part and parcel of our daily financial activities, and mortgages, home loans, which are currently at its peak in the country. When it comes to commercial banking, most of the products which I mentioned earlier would be still appropriate. However, the customer base would differ from consumers to commercial customers, such as small, medium businesses, and also large corporates like Walmart, Amazon, which does cross-country business with cross-border trade and payment transfers. Whereas on the investment banking, the focus is on shares, market, foreign currency buying and selling, securities, wherein customers here are generally another bank or non-banking financial institutions. If I can take an example, if you carry a 401k, where your 401k provider may invest your retirement funds into multiple market products in an investment bank. The last, but definitely not the least, it's functions. Functions pillar plays a very critical role in keeping the bank safe, running efficiently, and well under all the risk and regulatory controls. The risk could be financial, non-financial, or market, etc. risk in the bank. As you see, technology function is integral to bank with everything bank does in order to provide comprehensive technological solution. Okay, let's quickly talk about what's the current state of technology in banking. Digitization is changing how people interact and do business on a day-to-day basis. And advancements in banking technology are continue to influence the future of financial services around the world. An increasing demand for digital banking experience from millennials and Gen Z is transforming how the entire consumer banking industry operates. Retail and mobile banking technology has its hand in seemingly every aspect of the banking industry. and the influence of technology will continue to launch banking into a digitized future. The popularity of mobile banking has surpassing that of an online banking, and according to insider intelligence, mobile banking is growing at 5 times the rate of online banking. If I can quickly touch base on the cards, cards will continue to be prevalent in the current times, both for debit as well as credit cards. Who doesn't have their plastic cards in the wallets? Credit card industry is one of the innovative industry in producing more user-friendly, less oriented solutions and products such as virtual cards, or you all can also call them one-time card, which are friendly at the same time reduce the fraud risk significantly. There are many card vendors or service providers such as Pfizer, TSYS, with whom banks have partnered with in order to offer innovative card products and services for both retail as well as the commercial customers. Though pandemic has not significantly changed our needs and our approach towards banking at branches, they are not going away soon. Though retail banking is ahead of commercial banking in terms of adopting digital solutions, the need to have branches and services provided by customer-facing bank staff are continue to be in need. Then about API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's a common trend in banking technology to make proprietary data available to anyone who has consumers' permission to access it. APIs are the main drivers in transforming the current technical estate into more agile microservices architecture in order to support the bank to remain competitive in innovative products and services. Fintechs have also used API technology to enable their businesses to work, and their success is encouraging competitors to develop their own APIs. If I can talk about in HSBC, HSBC API capabilities and maturity has significantly improved over the past few years to transform our legacy monolithic IT enterprise into more robust one. In our new ways of working, we have API developers embedded into the pod or the team's construct to code and support API's lifecycle, along with smaller team of API architects who are defining our API standards, strategy, roadmaps, and much more. Though cloud computing trend has started in other non-banking industries way earlier, banks have not left behind further anymore. Banks have initiated cloud transformation programs to migrate and transform IT landscape running on their own infrastructure into the infrastructure provided by major public cloud providers. You may have heard about the names Google Cloud or Amazon or Microsoft Azure. While majority of the financial institutions are actively using cloud services today, majority of them have yet to deploy the core systems to the cloud due to the significant complexity and concerns over security, risk, governance, and control. Only few mission-critical regulated banking workloads are shifted to public cloud environment in the recent past. In HSBC, we have cloud-first strategy, wherein all our new IT landscape must be built using public cloud infrastructure in a hybrid cloud model. And we have been making very good progress on that front across all IT functions. With that said, all banks have dinosaurs in IT. You guessed it. It's mainframe systems. Mainframe systems wherein most of the IT workload are run today in production. Hence, they are not going away soon. However, the promise is to transform the legacy into modern technologies. The another technology which is getting mature day by day is artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML, in banking. There are no limits to opportunity in the banking tech to leverage AI and ML. in my mind, it's very pertinent to certain areas of the bank initially. For instance, customer servicing. Customer servicing is done through virtual assistants to automate conversations and interact with customers through messaging platforms. The other area I could think of is modeling. Could it be a risk modeling or a data modeling in order to continuously improve the efficiency and effectiveness? With this, I would like to touch on the naive space, which is being explored. The first one is open banking. Consumers are increasingly demanding relevant, timely, and personalized experiences that can save them time and money. The pandemic illustrated how well organizations in every industry could respond to the opportunity to bring technology and digital delivery together to meet consumer needs. Open banking has become one of the main drivers of digital transformation. It's impacting technology and infrastructure investments, data modernization, and even fintech partnership. Guess who will be the primary beneficiary of all these efforts? It will be the consumers. If I can quickly go on fintech partnership, for some institutions, the decision may be to build banking as a platform or banking as a service, BaaS, to open doors for selling products and services to an expanded prospect universe. Fintech partnership in general provides the opportunity to streamline and automate back office processes, build a stronger innovation culture, and improve customer retention. I would talk about my experience in HSBC in a few slides later. Let me talk about banks and fintechs. Fintechs are nothing but financial technology companies. The trend in the banking industry is the partnership between financial institutions and fintechs. You may think that both sides of the equation have enough strength to succeed independently. So why they should partner with each other? Well, though both fintechs and financial institutions have their own strengths in making them successful, they do lack some of the criteria required to be successful in today's as well as for tomorrow. That's where partnership and synergy between them comes in as a sweet pie, which is a better outcome. If we consider financial institutions on one side, they have brand, they have name recognition, and they have customer base is with their customer base very huge. And they do already offer a wide range of products and services. And they have robust infrastructure. And inherently, they have a better experience in risk management. And definitely, they have a lot of access to capital. On the other side, fintechs have a culture of innovation. They have a disruptive mindset. Their technological expertise is high compared to financial institutions with modern IT systems and no baggage of the legacy systems, what we call it, and they're quick and nimble. So when these strengths come together, the outcome is competitively powerful. So guessing what are those some banks which are actively partnering to fintech worlds? Here you see many banks are participating in various capacity with fintechs. If I take HSBC as an example, HSBC Venture Capital, which is a corporate venture arm of HSBC, has a 200 million fund for investment in tech startups with the aim of improving the bank's financial technology. So far, HSBC has made more than 40 investments, and the more prominent ones are with Cloudbees in order to improve DevOps capability for software delivery. And another one to mention is the Supply Shift for sustainable supply chain platform for trade. There is another partnership which is very intuitive, is Silent 8, which is a Poland founded startup to automate alerts to tackle money laundering and financing terrorism. What you have here is a quick peek of fintechs in various domains of the bank. In any regards, this is not a comprehensive list. Instead, it will just give you the purview to exhibit the current trend. On the payment space, we have Venmo, Zoom, Wise, you name it, which are being currently used by many of us. On the lending space, we have many digital-only lending offerings for providing quick loans, such as Affirm, Sophie, Lending Club. If I can take banking world, the trend is the rise of neobanks. What is neobanks? Neobanks are digital-only banks which offer without any branches or any associated relationship managers. Hence, all banking offerings are done through digital channels strictly. Lastly, markets, currency, and exchange space has seen many fintechs growing, such as Ripple, Coinbase, digital asset, etc. All right. So you may have a question that, okay, I'm a full stack engineer or I'm an engineer. Where can I see opportunity in HSBC or bank in general? What you see on the screen is an articulation of technology stack. It's certainly not limited to what you see on the screen, which is in relation to business functions or business domains. APIs, container technologies such as Kubernetes, Docker, cybersecurity technologies are fundamental to each and every solution built to solve any new business problem. Same goes with cloud technology stack, which is universal to everything built new today. As new products introduced involve one or many customer journeys, which may begin from onboarding a brand new customer using digital channels, using web technologies, and mostly running through process like automated credit decisioning to provide credit products such as credit card or mortgages. This happens through series of API integrations to connect multiple applications in order to achieve that seamless journey to the customer. Another huge space in any banking today is the payment technology, where digital payments such as real-time payments, peer-to-peer payments, they are all initiated through customer digital channels and processed through several core banking systems in order to move money from one financial institution to another with the extensive use of many technologies. Finally, if I can touch base on the data, data drives everything in an enterprise to make key decisions. Data IT itself is a very major part of the IT function, which works towards providing quality and most accurate data insights to business via visualizations. The full cycle of data comes with data collection by sourcing raw data from many sources, and followed by curating, cleansing, analyzing, and eventually with the presentation of data using data technologies. Not to leave out the data science using Python or R opportunities. So, to summarize, there are gazillion opportunities in the banking or in fintech industry to explore software engineering on. Let me come to a point on how to excel our IT careers in banking. It's needless to say, technical skill set and technical expertise is critical to career success. Apart from that, building a very good business acumen in all business domains can provide the competitive advantage and certainly expedite the career success with a lot more opportunities to tap onto. If I can share my experience, building my IT career with finance, commercial banking, as well as the payment domain. These domain knowledges provide boundless opportunities, as well as aids in outperforming in the current role, as we see and think more holistically to solve bigger business problems. With this, I would like to open up a second poll. So I would like to hear from you. What do you think the future of banking is? Let's give 30 seconds to a minute. And I saying it's e-banking. Absolutely. Larry, it's not a poll. It's your, what do you think of future of banking is? You can do a free text to provide your response. Yeah, cool. All right, let's move on. Let the responses keep coming. All right. So future of banking. Within retail banking space, the fintechs which were discussed earlier have proven neobanking offerings and business operations would perfectly fit into the future. In the future, digital banking business will become less visible because it will be embedded in other daily activities with the help of AI, voice interfaces, and other emerging technologies. Digital banking technologies, including AI, IoT, open banking, and fintech innovations, they are all converging towards one end goal, which is invisible banking. So with wearable technology, payments, on-demand loans, and other banking activities will increasingly be done by talking to your Siri or Alexa or to even to your car or through a phone app. When it comes to commercial banking space, commercial digital account opening systems are increasingly get a boost every day. In 2021, 30% of the banks anticipated choosing a new system, which is not very much different from what we do in HSBC. We have brand new platform to provide commercial customer and account onboarding completely digital. The newer platforms are built using modern technologies, which are highly scalable, adaptable, and more agile. To give further context, in HSBC, we have reduced commercial customer onboarding lead time from about 30 days down to 10 days, and we expect to reduce even more. This will progressively get better and efficient. While digital banking is undoubtedly convenient for domestic bank customers, it's also a boon to those who wish to open accounts with offshore bank. It means it's no longer necessary to make a trip to the country of choice to open an account in person. In order to provide more innovative products and solutions, the API maturity and capabilities in an organization will be instrumental in automating end-to-end customer journeys with minimal or no manual procedures in both business and operational processes. For instance, HSBC's Treasury APIs, which are customer-facing API channels, will be very popular by providing the capabilities to our corporate customers who can initiate digital real-time payments in order to send funds to their customers or suppliers. This would mean product fulfillment systems such as payment processing systems will be able to cater to the needs of omni-channel through heavy utilization on API landscape. Banks are also striking deals with companies and fintechs to offer banking as a service, which I referred to earlier as BaaS, which can allow third parties to offer banking products without actually becoming a bank. The appeal of embedded banking is to provide an easy and seamless way to deposit, pay, or borrow without leaving a non-financial company's app. The result is the ability for non-financial firm to retain customers and increase the overall value of the relationship. For example, HSBC has been pioneered in offering banking as a service to partners. One of the partnership is with ERP provider Oracle NetSuite as partner to embed banking services such as wires, ACH payments, and virtual card products to target customer base. HSBC has also partnered with TradeShift in global trade and receivable financing space to provide embedded trade products to partners' customer. And we are expected to see these efforts grow. Yet another software trend to watch is the wonder of blockchain technology. While many are probably familiar with its cryptocurrency manifestation like Bitcoin, its real potential promises to be revolutionary for many industries. Though I'm not very close to this space, HSBC has been actively exploring distributed ledger usage in global trade and receivable financing use case. This has immense opportunity to solve some of the most complex business challenges, which remain unsolved mostly. Let's deep dive at an HSBC example for banking as a service. In this case, HSBC and Oracle NetSuite have embarked on a journey by partnering together to provide digital ERP solutions in embedded finance space. What is ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning refers to a type of software that organizations use to manage day-to-day activities such as accounting, supply chain operations, and even the project management. In this scenario, Oracle NetSuite is providing ERP solutions with payments and virtual card capabilities to their customers by integrating with HSBC's business treasury APIs, wherein HSBC has ownership of the banking relationship with the Oracle's customer, and hence HSBC can facilitate their payments via wires, ACH, and virtual card rails through HSBC's product fulfillment systems. In general, partners such as Oracle NetSuite can take advantage of HSBC's publicly available developer portal in order to access banking as a service API specs and unlock the potential of their business by partnering with HSBC. Let's look at the detail of API security quickly. API integrations, especially the business-to-business pattern, requires a very high standard security patterns. The pattern used here is called PGP. PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy. PGP is most often used for sending encrypted message between two parties. How it works is it's by encrypting a message using the public key that's tied to a specific user. When that message is received, they use a private key that is only known to them to decrypt it. So in this case, when Oracle calls HSBC's APIs, Oracle will encrypt the message using HSBC's public key and additionally signs the message using their private key. Once message is received at HSBC side, HSBC uses their private key, which is only known to them, to decrypt the message and also confirm the digital signature using Oracle's public key prior to forwarding the message for processing. If you can ask me what are the advantages and disadvantages, here we have some of them on the screen. That on the advantages side for Oracle, Oracle is a market leader in ERP solutions, and they have extensive customer base for business banking segment. On the disadvantages side, Oracle has no existing banking or payment products and services, and also lack global scale of banking. While on the HSBC's advantage, HSBC has extensive banking products and services which are available internationally. Due to its existing footprint, it has global reach with robust infrastructure to process payments cross-border as needed. Also, HSBC by its own nature owns the financial and operational risk in the partnership. While it may be disadvantaged that HSBC does not particularly have established customer base of ERP. Hope this made some sense. Now I'll quickly move on to the talent community for HSBC. What we have is a community group for talents in HSBC. You can see the barcode as well as the link on the screen. Think about joining our talent community group where you can see our open positions, or if you're interested in building the community talent. With this, I will move on to question and answers. I will end the presentation so that we all come to the main screen and we can take questions.
Wow, thank you so much. Oh, can you pull up the QR code one more time, actually, before you stop sharing your screen? That's possible. So people have a second to take a screenshot or...
Sure, absolutely. Yes,
Great, thank you.
second.
And as you're doing that, I will, I want to shout out our audience who asked amazing questions. We might not be able to get to all of them, so I'll do my best. Some of them, and maybe at the end we can put up the QR code as we end, but we'll do our best to get to all of them. But we had a lot of amazing questions, some very technical and some more about the career. So we'll divide them into two sections. We'll start with some of the, perfect. So yeah, everyone take a screenshot. So we'll start with some of the technical questions. I think a lot of people were very interested. I think one big takeaway that people had was kind of the, one of the needs of like the fact that a lot of the code was written in COBOL or like an older language in a lot of banks. And so a lot of people didn't know that. So they were very interested in that. And so people wanted to know a little bit about updating legacy code, and if that, and forgive me if you answered that, but if that, how does that factor in roles, and is that a role? Because a lot of people weren't realizing that, oh, maybe they should learn some of these older languages.
So the trend, as I was talking earlier, we do have a lot of our banking runs on legacy systems such as mainframes or iSeries, so which include the legacy languages like COBOL, and all the banks are moving away from the legacy into a more modern systems, which means it could be APIs, AI-based, or even the cloud technologies. So it's very important for us to build our niche career. We need to know what's coming up as well, which includes the trends which are already getting mature in the banking industry, like cloud, getting certified in any of the cloud providers. There are so many certifications provided or available in the market. So getting that certification so that you are already in the forefront of what's coming will definitely help to transition from the technologies which are legacy in nature to move on towards the future.
Oh, thank you so much. It looks like Grecia put the link in the chat, so you can stop sharing your screen if you want to, if you're ready. So we can see our wonderful speaker a little bit better. speaking of cloud, that was also another kind of question on the more technical side. Marina wanted to know, and maybe we can't answer this in the 1 minute that we have, but she said, if you're maintaining multiple cloud providers, how do you divide work between them?
Yeah, it definitely comes to the strategy. Every business and IT functions have the predefined strategy on which is the customer segment they have to target to. And that will also help in determining which cloud provider you have to go to. For example, in HSBC, we have multi-cloud strategy. And depending on the business functions, we either use Google Cloud or AWS, even to some use cases, we use Azure. So it's really come up to the use case on what is available and what is best for a use case. And that goes with the adoption of the multi-clouds.
Perfect. And then another question that we had, I mean, you talked a lot about API and partnership with fintech. So have you seen, we touched on a little bit, but have you seen, or if you can talk about HSBC, like an API that enables fintech companies to link their HSBC account with their app so that the app can provide, for example, insights into that data, if you have anything to add about that.
Sure. That's the deep dive of a banking as a service example, where currently we are working on a partnership with Oracle NetSuite, which exactly what it does. So we have customers who are Oracle NetSuite customers who can leverage HSBC's banking products and services through Oracle NetSuite without becoming a direct customer to HSBC. And behind the scene on the technological side, how it happens is Oracle and HSBC talk to each other through the APIs.
Yeah, thanks. I want to also, before we move to the kind of career planning questions, I want to shout out Beatrice, who, when you asked about the future of banking, she wrote that she likes the idea of making things easy, like you were talking about Siri, because she feels it's more accessible and is often neglected. Do you see any trends like in accessibility using technology, or anything that you find exciting in that area?
I think definitely retail or consumer banking is so much advanced in generally compared to other banking domains, that every day something new comes up. And what we do today is the digital payments through mobile, and that's going to come very much sooner with your IoT devices, which is very soon, with all the innovations going on. And I see it coming pretty soon and then it's exciting, and eventually consumers are at its best in the sense that you don't need to log into your laptop, or no need to log into your mobile as well. So you can just conveniently talk to your personal assistants and do your banking activities, which is very cool.
So more on the career planning side, I had a question for you a little bit in terms of getting started, as maybe you have like experience other places, but what advice do you have to kind of get your first job? Like either, I guess there's two different paths, right? It could be your first software engineering job ever, or maybe you're transitioning industry. Do you have any advice? Well, I mean, let's start with transitioning industry. Any advice for people that are looking to transition industry? And then I'll ask about first job.
Sure. I think if we are transitioning across industries, the technical skill set is the most important thing at that point of time. Because as I was alluding to earlier in the presentation, if you want to excel in banking, we need to know technical as well as the business domain knowledge, so that you make much more sense when you present your solutions or when you present your ideas. So that's something I would look upon if someone is moving into banking, that you come with your technical expertise, then gradually build on your business acumen in order to build success in your career in IT banking.
And then what about for people that would like to carve out their niche, their area earlier? So maybe they don't have the experience technically from the technical skills, but they are really attracted to this industry and they want to start at an entry-level position.
So to begin in banking, you don't need to be in IT. You can be in other part of the bank where you don't need the technical skills to start with, and you can start at the entry level for multiple roles. It could be a relationship manager or a back office operator, and gradually you work through by building your knowledge. And for me, learning technical skills is much more easier than the domain knowledge, because domain knowledge takes time, whereas building up your technical skill set, you can do certification and come up, have that theoretical knowledge to engage yourself in the projects and get eventually the hands-on experience.
Great. That's amazing advice. So in terms of the organization of the teams, so if there, and this is a question from Christopher, who I want to shout out. Christopher has been asking amazing questions this whole time. But this one I thought was very interesting. How do engineering teams communicate between the consumer retail customer teams and then the commercial teams? Is there much communication or collaboration there, or are they separate?
It really, the answer depends on how big the organization in enterprise is. So in organizations like Hsbc, where it's a huge organization, along with it's a metric style organization, you really come down to knowing people apart from your organization pillars per se. So you need to know people, get involved in all the other activities, know more people about whom you generally don't work with on a day, so that you build your network, and in the sense you can run through to exchange your ideas or participate in a hackathon together. So I think that's how I would see a mix of the collaboration happening when you really don't meet so many people across the different banking segment on a day-to-day. But it really comes down to how much efforts we put to build our network as well.
That makes sense. So we're approaching the end of time, unfortunately, but I'd like to finish with Antoinette's question, which I think touches on a little bit about the domain knowledge and how you said it takes time when you're a technical person. So Antoinette wanted to know, how do you stay up to date on what is happening in the banking or finance space? Any recommendations of where to look or what people should be reading to finish our talk today?
I would think it's multiple avenues. For me, generally, I read a lot of topics in YouTube or in the Google, and also there are a lot of events happens within your organization where you participate and understand what's the trend coming. And there is another avenue is participating in the external conferences and get a sight of what's coming next. So for me personally, I would, again, to conclude, I will read a lot, because for me it's very important, being an architect, to be up to date on what's happening, and also go through a deep dive sessions in a YouTube. Though I don't have any particular presenter, I know the topic, I go through some of them, and it gives a different perspective depending on the presenter. So for me, it's a mix of all.
Thank you so much. Those are all the questions. I want to thank the audience for really, I'm not exaggerating, some of the best questions I've seen in an event. We are so appreciative that you came and brought all your knowledge. Divya, thank you so much. It was a wonderful talk, and we hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening, and thanks for giving your time towards this. Hopefully it made some sense. Thank you again, all. Take care. Bye now.